Hey, good morning. Happy hump day. I am your host, Thomas Jason Anderson, and this is the off ramp. Man, what a time to create a platform in this world, a social media platform covering politics and news. Wow. I always thought crazy things could happen politically, in my lifetime. And I've seen a lot of crazy things happen, but for I didn't think in my lifetime that I would see the entire world change quickly. I just didn't think so. Um, and I'm a little bit shocked actually at it all, and I'm glad that I have this platform so that I can sort of chronicle what's going on here because it's huge what's happening. Um, I don't know if many people are ever gonna. I don't know if people are going to be able to grasp on to just how huge things have gotten, just how I mean, it's shocking. That's how big this is and what's going on. Um, Proof of it is this NATO situation. And the NATO situation is something that I think a lot of us can sort of connect to through our personal lives. And what I mean by that. Hey, good morning, Tiff. Good morning, Andre. So how can we connect it to our person? I'll tell you how it works, right? So a lot of us have experienced this before. A lot of you have experienced this before, and politically in the United States, we have experienced this, where there's a whole you get from certain people who portray themselves as elite or better than most. Um, you sometimes you run into a situation where these people aren't truly as elite as they claim. They're not as smart as they claim, but they're in a position because of society where you, as a normal, regular person, you have to kind of accept their gaslighting storyline that they are special, that they are unique, that they deserve special treatment because they're special and they were born that way. whatever. Like, I know many of us have come across people like that. We have bosses like that. And so that's been the situation now my entire lifetime, at least when it comes to the geopolitical stage. I've always been gaslit into believing. I don't believe it, but I've been gaslit to believe, because I've never believed it, but I've always been gaslit to believe that me and my family and my country were the problem in the world, and that the people who were trying to fix the world were the Cubans, the Russians, the Chinese, the French. That was the Brits. They've always been portrayed as the group in the world who are the responsible parents. They are the responsible boss, and they do all the right things, and they've been grouping together now to help the world, you know, be free from underneath the horrible ways of the Americans, the evil Americans. Like, this has been my entire life, the storyline, right? I've never bought into it. I've always said, nah, man, we are the good guys here in this situation. I don't care. I don't give a damn what anyone says. America's the good guys. Yeah, we get taken advantage of. And yes, we end up having situations where leadership sometimes can lead us astray. But as a people, as a nation, under our constitution, we are the good guys. That's the truth. But we are now at this point now, and many of you can attest to this in your own lives, where you've had situations where people who do not deserve the authority, people who do not deserve the praise, have been getting it from everyone. But then there comes a time when the rubber meets the road and the truth exposes, like the sun coming over, ending a long night. And all of a sudden, people can see clearly what was really going on and what has been going on. And for those of us who have been unlucky enough to be on the short end of the stick and be looked down upon, spit on, talk trash about, even though you're the one doing all the work, right? For those of you who have felt that, you know that there does come a time. And for those of you who have experienced that, there comes a time where there's a reckoning, where the truth has to come to the surface. Well, we've got that happening now with the European nations, China and Russia. They have been saying for generations now that they are the peace bringers in the world, that they are the ones who know how to treat everyone fairly, that they are the ones who know how to create systems and establish hierarchies so that the world can shine at its brightest. This is what the European nations have claimed. This is what China has claimed. This is what they have lived off of. And they have said that it's been America holding all of them back from all of the peace that they want to bring to the earth. Okay, well, we all get to see just how peaceful these guys are now, because NATO is over, it's done, and the European nations now have to protect themselves. And who do they have to protect themselves from? The Russians, a lot of different people, each other. See, they're not the peaceful crew they claim to be. They're not the brightest, they're not the smartest, they're not the strongest. They are not in the best position geopolitically to do anything. They aren't. As a matter of fact, they're being exposed as being super weak. They don't have really any military power. They're not really that smart intellectually. I mean, on the tech stage, they're not really that great. They're not getting us to the moon and back. What is it that Europe actually provides the world? What are they actually providing us? I've always thought of, and I've always considered this, that they've just been an anchor, a drag, a parasite on the world. That they, for a long time now, have been running around the world, scamming different countries into different agreements that don't work out well for them. They've been robbing people blind, doing all kinds of shenanigans. All right. And now it's all catching up to them, because now we're in a position where they have to go get their own oil from the Straits of Hormuz. They have to deal with the Iranians now. They have to do it. Why? Because America doesn't need oil from Iran or that region. We don't need it. We don't care about it. The only reason why we're keeping stability there is because we have allies there. And it's to our benefit not to have crazy oil prices because it will hurt the entire world. So we're being responsible, but the Europeans have pushed it too far. So now they're on their own. They've got to figure out a way to get oil. They can buy it from us. They can't go and steal it from Venezuela anymore. They can't steal it from the Iranians anymore. And see, that's the reality of this, right? So this is how they're going to be exposed. The European nations, especially France, Italy, Spain, what they've been doing is living off of basically a sanctions rebate. They run around and they create problems, and different oil rich nations get sanctions put on them, and that allows Europeans to get oil below market rate. So they want a Venezuela situation, and they want it really, really bad. Why? So they can get a bunch of cheap oil. They want Iran to be run by psychotic mullahs. They don't want an Iran with a thriving economy that actually works, because then you'd have to pay them for their oil at market rate. The Europeans don't want that. They don't want to pay for anything at market rate. They want it all for less than what everybody else has to pay it for. And they're willing to do any dastardly deed possible to get that done. Well, that's over now. They now have to buy their oil at market rate, fair and square. And if they have a problem with the Iranians not giving them oil for $20 a barrel anymore, well, then they got to work it out with the Iranians then. If they want to, empower some mullahs to beat the Iranian people down so they can get cheap oil, then they got to do that. We're not going to do it. Trump has already announced we're not doing that. We got rid of the psychos there who wanted nukes, because what they wanted to do was create Armageddon. That's what the Iranians were all about. If anyone doesn't know, the truth of the matter is, with the Iranians, it was a regime that wanted to create Armageddon on Earth, to bring back what their version of Jesus Christ. So they needed nukes to do that. And the Europeans were all for that, because the Europeans, they don't think that that's real. In their minds, it's like, no, that's just a game the Iranians are playing. They just want to get rich. They don't actually want to bring Armageddon, because they're idiots. Those guys want Armageddon. So we got rid of them. And now that they're gone, people have to start paying their fair share for the oil that they use in their countries. You have to pay market rate now. And on top of that, European countries are going to have to put the money in to their navies and their militaries to go send them down to that region to keep it nice and clean. Because there's a bunch of terrorists there who are funded by China running all over the place. Now the Europeans have to deal with it. And the good thing is, since they're such friends with the Chinese, hey, maybe they can convince the Chinese to stop with the terrorism in the Middle East. Stop funding it. Stop funding the chaos. Stop funding the mullahs. Maybe the Europeans can convince the Chinese to buy oil at market rate for once. Maybe they can. We weren't able to convince them. We tried. They wouldn't listen to us. The Europeans wouldn't listen to us. So now they've got their problem on their hands. Europeans got to find a way to get their own energy. The UK, these guys are losers in the UK, straight losers. And why are they losers? They don't have okay, 3 generations ago, they had the biggest, most powerful navy in the world. 3 generations ago. That ain't long ago. Now they got nothing. They don't have nothing. They have allowed their countries to decline. They allowed their militaries to go to crap. They thought the EU nations, especially France, the UK, Italy, Spain, these guys really thought that they could just sit pretty and have the United States and Russia and China just provide them with everything they want, just because they're Europeans. If they want cheap oil from the Iranians, the Americans will get it for them. If they if they are having a problem with the Russians, the Chinese will help them out. NATO will come in and save them. They don't have to get their own militaries. They don't have to have their own sons and daughters fight their wars. No, they get to go to great universities and get their PhDs and have their sex parties. This is Europe. Totally decrepit. They've got no military. They can't defend themselves. They bring hardly anything to the table, to the world, to benefit the world in any way, shape, or form. Presently, what are they bringing? Corruption? Theft? What are they bringing? Sorry, but this is the reality with these guys. And now they're exposed. So just like a boss who was trying to, or a coworker who may have been stealing your work and taking credit for, oh, now they got to do their own work. Now they have to take their own test. Let's see how the Europeans do. I know they're going to fail. They're going to fail. They're in big trouble. And it's of their own doing. And no one cares to save them. Now, maybe the Chinese will save them. I doubt it. I doubt it. Because what are they giving the Chinese? What are they providing? Not much. Right? So EU is on the edge, guys. The EU countries, they're in big trouble. I don't know how they get out of this in one piece, the EU. In other words, I don't think there's going to be an EU. It's probably going to fall apart. More than likely, it's going to fall apart. And it's going to fall apart because they can't get cheap energy anymore. They can't get the United States to defend them anymore. And they've got enemies at the gate. They've got the Russians coming in. They got the Turks who aren't so happy on some things. They've got enemies at the gate. And they've got no way to defend themselves. And now they don't have very many friends. The only friend they really have now is China. And the Chinese are just there to use them, unfortunately, for prestige or whatever image bullshit that they want out of them. But they're not, that sucks. And it's crazy how the European nations went from having a great partnership with us in America to being out in the cold and in the street with no one to partner with now. They think they're going to partner with the Chinese. They're not. The Chinese don't care for them. The Chinese only want them to hurt us. And if they can't hurt us, then what's the point of partnering? So now they got to find out how to create their own militaries. Where are they going to get the budget from? Where are they going to get the natural resources from? Ukraine had a bunch of resources, but Russia's got them now. So what are you going to do? Let's look at Greenland. They're going to claim that that's ours. Trump's going to take that next. Bye-bye. And what are they going to do? They don't have navies. They don't have a navy. The UK doesn't have crap. They have crap for a navy. They went from the biggest navy 3 generations ago to crap now. None of the EU countries have real navies. They got nothing. Sorry. So how are they going to defend something as huge as Greenland? And since we're not going to be in NATO anymore, we definitely need Greenland now because the Europeans have proven they are not partnered with us anymore. They claim that it's because of Trump. No. The problem is they went so long using us and we've caught up to the game. We figured it out. And now they want to pretend like we were never friends. We don't need to be friends anymore. Now that we figured it out. But guys, we sacrifice a lot here in America for you in Europe. We've given you guys so much just because you're our European like cousins, basically, just off of like sentimental reasons, really, not because you're the best partners for us. You're not. In many ways, you guys sabotage us. And it's not right that you guys have been doing that for so long, because a lot of the sabotage from you guys in Europe has caused the dysfunction that we've seen here in America. And then you blame us, but it's really you guys and your saboteuring ways. Unfortunately. Now, people can say that I'm wrong, and that's fine, but we're about to find out. That's what's great about this period right now. We're about to find out. Am I wrong or am I right? I'm glad that we're leaving that region. I'm glad that we're going to consolidate our bases to just our friends. And everybody else, you're on your own. That's how it should have been forever now. Now everyone wants to say, "Oh, America." So we're pulling back. You guys want to claim we're the bad guys? All right, we're pulling back. We're doing our thing. What are you guys going to do? What's China going to do about Iran? What are they going to do? And here's the other question. What happens when Russia settles things with these EU nations? What happens between Russia and China in that relationship now? Is China going to easily just be able to do whatever they want with Russia? I don't know. I think at that point, Russia starts to push back on China a little bit. So we can start seeing some pieces moving here where, depending on how people play their role now, will have a big impact on their future later. So if the Chinese guys were smart, what they would do right now is see that, uh-oh, they lost this game. They lost this battle for sure. It's totally lost. Are they going to be too prideful to admit that and change their ways? Or are they going to suck it up, admit the truth, and live on the straight and narrow and do the right thing for once? We're about to find out. Same thing goes for the EU nations. Let's find out what they're really all about. China and the EU nations have claimed over and over again they are the peace bringers on earth. Okay, guys, bring the peace to Iran, please. Do your thing. America's leaving. Do your thing and create peace in Iran. You guys are so smart. You're so peaceful. It's been America's been the problem. Okay, we're leaving. You guys make your peace now. That's what's great about this. We now get to see the real deal. I think Nick Fuentes said that the Iranians are fighting for all of mankind. That's what he claims. Let's see. Let's see the Chinese go in there with the Europeans and create peace on earth with the Iranians in tow. Let's see Nick Fuentes. Let's see them bring the peace. Let's see it. Let's see them save the earth by bringing peace to the Middle East. How hard can it be? How hard can it be for China and all of the EU nations and Russia to partner up with the Iranians to make a peaceful situation there? How hard can it be? Everybody's been claiming it's been the United States who creates all the wars in the Middle East. Okay. We're leaving again. I'm going to say it again. We're leaving. It's now China gets a chance to step up to the plate and show the world just how peaceful they are. They get to show the world how they are strong through peace, how they love everyone. Let's see it. Let's see it. Now, my argument has been all along that the Chinese back psychotic lunatics in different countries because they want those psychos to enslave the people so that China can steal all the resources and money and run around fat and happy. That's what the Chinese do. That's been my thing. I've watched them do it now. Everywhere they go throughout the planet, it's like parasites. They land in a place and they abuse everything and they impoverish everybody. That's what I've seen. Now, the Europeans disagree. Why? Because the Chinese pay them off. See, their experience with the Chinese is the Chinese just give us money. They're nice guys. But in the rest of the world, our experience with them is, no, they just want to make everybody poor and suffer. This is how they behave. That's been how I've seen it. So let's see if I'm wrong. China now gets a chance as a leader on the world stage to create a peaceful situation in the Middle East with Iran. They've been saying now for many, many years, they're the experts at this. They know how to do it. Do it. Let's see it. Stop talking and do. I'll bet they can't do shit. Because the Chinese talk a good game, but I noticed they don't do shit but rip people off. Sorry for the language, but that's the reality. Let them prove me wrong. Let them prove me wrong. Go into Iran and have that place looking great where they're selling their oil on the market to anybody and everybody who wants to purchase it. Go ahead, China, do it. Let's see you do it. And you've got your friends in the UK and the EU, France, Italy, Spain. China can't make an excuse and say they can't bring peace to the Middle East because they've got the backing of the UK, France, Spain. They've got it all. Italy. So this should be an easy transition in Iran. We should see in Iran in about 10 years being the diamond of the Middle East. Because with China and all of the EU nations joining up to bring this peace in the Middle East by supporting, the hardworking Iranians, this should look great. It shouldn't even take 10 years. It should take like 5 years. Let's see them do it. They're the peace bringers. They're the ones who bring life to the earth. Do it. Anyway, have a great hump day, guys. I will see you later. Thank you for joining. Hey, if you can, please subscribe. All of the support is appreciated as always. I will see you guys later. Take care.
Now I'ma put it down like that. I'm leaving, I ain't coming back. You don't like the way I act anyway. You really don't have to react. Don't try to change my mind, in fact. Honey, I've already packed all my stuff. We're no longer kids, let's move on. And you are not my kid, so I'm done. Please don't make me pull my gun. Sorry boy, I can't be the one. You know it, yeah. Nothing lasts forever. You know that a change will make it better. You know that nothing lasts forever. You know that, yeah, change will make it better. There's no one to blame, you see. Maybe we're not meant to be. There are plenty more fish in the sea anyway. Every day's a different thing. So I'm not into wedding rings. It ain't personal, it's the way I think. Yeah. You